want to pay extremely close attention. The rules are changing, and if you don't know this information, you're more likely to be on the losing side than the winning side. I'm really excited about this. Dean Gracios, Michael Zane, Trina Ruth, Brian Dice, the one and only Russell Brunson. Not nearly Scotty, we have Molly here, Todd Brown, the Fraser, I feel like Jeff Swan, Neil Patel, Dennis Gibb. I think that there's a high risk of mass extinction of the internet business.
Millions of businesses, big and small, closed, pushing us into the worst global recession in history.
The writing is on the wall. Things are changing. Things are happening.
Change in the industry that's forcing people to evolve and adapt or basically die.
You need to see this to understand it. Something like that will happen. You can write it in blood. If there was a tactic or strategy that you're most excited about, what would it be? We can go as deep as you want.
I call this content sprouting. These strategies work for any social media platform.
If you believe it's a good idea, you should stick with it. When your business becomes part of someone's identity, that's when they stick. This is really crazy. I don't know if I can share this with you. Waste the least amount of money to find that winner. That's how you win for $1 a day.
Now, I have people that are on my list for 2 years that are still looking at email. To get this many amazing people in a room is just amazing. But we're about to take people behind the stage. That's amazing. If you want to know what's happening in the future, tune in now.
Hello, hello, hello. So welcome everyone. Rich Sheffrin here. It is Tuesday, March 15th. Hopefully you can hear me. Let me know that you can. Always like to make sure that all of this is working. So yes, please comment. Let me know that you hear me because sometimes you don't. And that's always unfun. All right. So my name is Rich Sheffrin. I do these live streams every Tuesday and Thursday. Tuesdays from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. and Thursdays from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And so I kind of threw this topic together at the very last minute. What we're going to be talking about are life lessons of an entrepreneur and bad as, what's that? Yep, all working. Cool. So I just threw this together and pulled some notes from Evernote, and I thought we could go through this together, life lessons of an entrepreneur. And I came up with this idea of covering this primarily because I just turned 50 this weekend, as many of you know, and it's the 16th. Sound is great. Oh, it's the 16th. Did I say March 15th on the tab? And always better, Sandra, to let me know afterwards, because when you text me during a live stream, I am then focusing my attention on that. So, whoops, is today the 16th? It is the 16th. Did I put the 15th? I guess I did. Yep. Whoops. Anyway, sorry about that. So, so life lessons of an entrepreneur. I turned 50 this weekend, and that made me quite reflective. And actually, it's really interesting. So one thing that I often feel somewhat not conflicted. Yes, I know today is the 16th. I was just told that by Sandra, my assistant, which is why ultimately I shouldn't even be making these thumbnails in PowerPoint, but nonetheless, I didn't have a big party on my birthday, and nor would I want a big party. I find that I'd rather have like my closest friends. But as I was kind of reflecting this weekend on my life, as most people probably would do when they hit 50. I also got quite a few notes from people, emails from people, and texts from people letting me know the impact that I made in their lives and how their lives were different because of their experience, or of them coming into contact with me. And those messages really were, I guess, what would be the right way to say it? Really made my weekend, for lack of a better way of saying it, because they confirm what I'm doing is the right thing, right? And so, someone once kind of was explaining to me their version of what they think like heaven and hell is, and heaven is kind of like this idea, and go with me on this for a second, that how you live on in the memories of others, right? And I'm not going to explain this well, but what I would say is that when I get a bunch of messages like on my 50th birthday from other people letting me know that their lives have been improved because I existed, right? That I think is the best that anyone can really hope for at the end of the day about living a meaningful life, that other people's lives were better because you lived, I think is what basically I think anyone can hope for, right? Or should hope for about a meaningful life. So obviously some people do it on a very grand scale. Other people do it on a very minor, like smaller number of people scale. And, most people are somewhere in between. And yeah, so I would just say that was probably the most meaningful part of my weekend. And I would say that if anyone that that has made an impact in your life reaches a milestone kind of birthday as a gift, letting them know that is probably something that really makes a difference in people's lives. And so all I can share is that on the receiving end of it, it felt really nice. So anyway, so that is what kind of got me thinking about doing what we're doing today, which is life lessons, right? And as I always say on all of these live streams, and today where I was going to live stream into LinkedIn, but as I was scheduling this live stream, which of course I was doing at the last minute, I found out that you have to schedule an hour ahead of time in LinkedIn. So I guess on Thursday will be the first time that this live stream also goes into LinkedIn. So on Thursday, it'll be on Periscope, YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Right now, we're just on Periscope, Facebook, and YouTube. All right. So as always, I try and make these, or I appreciate it if you guys would help me make this more of a conversation than a diatribe or a monologue by me. Really, the goal here is for me to be here sharing my experiences, what I've learned, and to be here to help answer any questions that you have about growing your online business or experiences that you're currently that are current for you, whether they're an obstacle or an opportunity, and want my advice. So with that said, yes, please comment, please emote. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe and give a thumbs up and comment. If you're watching on Facebook, please emote, comment, and share. And if you share, or when you share, hit pound, do hashtag share. And this way I can thank you personally. And for all of you who sent me a happy birthday message, whether it was on Facebook or on any of the other platforms, thank you so much. I received so many that I haven't even gotten back to. A fraction of the people who have sent me birthday wishes. So really kind of, it was very nice. It was very kind of cool. And so let's see who's with us right now. And it's really interesting, the spread of people. So we have 1 on Periscope. We have 3 on my personal page, 2 in the Facebook group, 37 on my fan page, and 4 in YouTube. And let me change the banners on these for a second. So, because I can hardly see Azale. Let's see. That's better. All right. Hello, Azale. Good to see you, my friend. Or Azael. Javier, good to see you. Glad that you can hear me. Thank you, Michael. Good to see you, my friend. And Asma, good to see you in Egypt. Bad as. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Max, but okay. Ingrid, all is working. Great. Thanks for letting me know, Ingrid. And Asma, sound is good. Cool. And thank you, J-Rock. You did. Cool. Today is the 16th. Yes, I made that mistake. Happy birthday. Thank you, Azale. Yes. Well, everyone's a kid when you're older, right, Leslie? Good to see you, Leslie. Good to see you, Lewis, in Mexico. I did have a good birthday celebration, so thank you for that. 50 is the beginning of true wisdom. Well, I hope so. Then I should be in store for some fun stuff. J-Rock, happy birthday in Pompano Beach. What cigar shop do you like in Delray? I'd like to send you a gift certificate if that would be okay. Oh, that would be fine. Smoke Inn on Federal Highway, but it's in Delray Beach, J-Rock. And you can always message me in Facebook or on YouTube. Just can you message in YouTube? I think you can. If not, come over to the Facebook group and join the Strategic Profits group for free and get access to some really cool stuff as well. Thumbs up, Asma. Thank you, Adam. Thank you, Asma. Don't be sorry about anything. Thank you, Cora. Hey, Jane. Good to see you. Thank you for sharing. What up with you? Both are good. Max Center. Max Canner. Okay. Hector, thank you for the birthday wishes. I'd love to know which would be the biggest life lesson you'd go back and give your 30-year-old self if given the chance. What would I say? Michael, ask me that towards the end, and I'll try and give you an answer. How about that? Good to be back in the game, Taki. I don't know why I'm not get notification on Facebook, but I'm lucky to get the notification on YouTube. Asma, maybe you're not following my Facebook page or not in the Facebook group. Thank you, Barbara, from extreme Sonoma coast of Northern California. I'm heading out to California in just about a week. Yeah, in just about a week. Gonna be there for Flight Club with Glenn Ledwell and Alex Catoni. Thank you for the birthday wishes. Dynamo Foe. Hey, Rich. Also looking forward to your lives with much appreciation. Thank you, Dynamo Foe. And Naheem. Yep. Well, thank you for the birthday wishes. Max Canner. Sound is great. You look awesome. Miss seeing you at the beach in Delray taking notes, smoking a stogie in your Porsche. Yep. Got to get a new car first. And I'm debating whether I even want a car, to be honest with you. I was debating, like, I was pro and conning it, whether I should get a new car or should I just start taking Ubers everywhere and get work done in the back of the car and just use Kim's car when necessary. Hey, what's up, Dr. Vogelman? And are there lots of life lessons learned in Coronado Island every day? Where will I be? In California? Well, I'm going to figure that out over the next couple of days, but it's going to start in, I'm going to start in San Diego. And then after San Diego, I want to go up to LA, and I have a few friends and people I want to get together with in between San Diego and LA. So I imagine I will make my way up slowly. And then when I finally get to LA, hang out with Jay Abraham and maybe a few other friends that are up there. But that is that's the plan as of now. Do you prefer to be commented on via your fan page or personal page? Don't know if it makes any difference, Dr. Vogelman. So I guess I don't have any preference. How to optimize SEO on a website. Is that a life lesson or that's a question? That's a Leslie would answer that for you, Ozma. If you come up to wine country, would love to meet. Okay. I don't know that we're going that far north on this trip, but I appreciate the invite, Barbara. Hello, Renan. Good to see you. In Brazil, smoking in a cigar-friendly Uber. Yeah, well, I don't smoke in my own car either, unless it's a convertible, because I don't want my car to smell. So yeah, I don't have to worry about that. Just like I generally don't smoke in here, although I'm going to figure out a way that I can at some point. So I heard you're the mentor of the mentors, but I'm so curious who you mentored that are mentors. That's a effing cool thing. Well, if you ever heard of Russell Brunson or Mike Filsain or Todd Brown or Todd Herman or Ryan Levesque or any of these people, they've all gone through my coaching program. So that is what has gotten me that name, Aziel. Hey, Rich, looking forward to seeing the Sheffrin Show, Highland Beach, Florida, just up the road from me here in Delray. Good to see you, Glenn, and good to see you, Doug. And I was just thinking about appeasing the Zuck algorithm. Yeah, we all are slaves to the algorithm, aren't we? So anyway, so yeah, so I wanted to, I'm trying to think of what would be the best way to do this. What I did and what I thought would be an easy way to do this is I pulled up some Evernote notes that I had highlighted, or rather saved, and thought like it would probably be easiest. I could reflect on those, and then that would jive in my mind what I thought was interesting, what I agree with, what I don't, etc. So let me see if I can, whether I want to bring them up on screen or not, and see how this is going to work. Now, what I'm doing as I'm streaming to you right now in StreamYard, but I'm still using Ecamm behind it. So I'm using Ecamm primarily because I'm broadcasting to you on a Canon camera, and Ecamm pulls in the Canon camera without having to have a cam link or anything like that. So that's why I'm using it. I don't even know. Maybe StreamYard does the same, but I don't think they do. So let's see here how this might work. And this will be an experiment that we will all see and see how it goes. Let's see here. Is this? Let's see. Okay. And let's see if I can. So you guys should see that now. Hopefully you do. And I am looking at this as we speak. Okay, this is in StreamYard. Cool. And you guys should see right now my my Evernote page. And hopefully you do. And I want to see if I can just put myself in the corner. I don't know if that's possible, but if I can, I will. No, that's the interview thing. So that ain't going to do it. And then can I do that? There we go. So do you guys see me? You guys should see me. Oh, that looks kind of nice. All right. And cool. All right. So as you can see here, there were a couple of notes, and I just figured I could pull one up, and then I would see what I agreed with, what I disagreed with, and that would be an easy way to kind of get the party started, so to speak. So very cool. All right, so let's see how this works when I am in the Evernote note, and I click to which one? let's go to the Ryan Holiday note. Just making sure you guys see that. Oh, perfect. All right, that works well. And what if I do that? No, that's bad. Uh-oh. All right, there we go. All right, so hold on, guys. Sorry about this. It's just I have to figure out. Whoa. All right, there we go. Can you guys read the side of this, or is it too small to see what's on the page here? And can I move this, or will this move this? No, I think that's pretty good. All right, cool. You guys can see it? All right. All right, wake up early. I would agree with that. I think that actually one of the most important things to get on a consistent, one of the most important things to be at your best is to have a routine sleep schedule. The easiest way to have a routine sleep schedule is to wake up at the same time. It's a lot easier to make sure that you wake up at the same time, which kind of forces you to start going to bed at a more appropriate time for that wake up time, right? And why is that so important? That's important because your body's highly adaptable. And when you are consistently going to bed at the same time, waking up at the same time, your body can acclimate to that and actually optimize your sleep schedule. Every time in my life where I've woken up at a specific time consistently, I've always been better, felt happier, performed better. And so I would definitely put that up there. What I was telling my youngest daughter the other night is it was like 10 p.m. and I was going to bed, and she was going to stay up late. And I was saying, nothing good ever happens late at night, because more often than not, the hours from 10 to midnight, I will not be anywhere near as effective if I went to bed at 10, woke up at 6, and use those morning hours as opposed to those evening hours. I don't know how it is for you guys, but certainly is for me, that morning hours are just that much more effective than evening hours. Next, second one that Ryan has on here is, am I using this technology or is it using me? I would say that that's always a good question to have about really anything that you interact with. Like, you never want to become a slave to routine, as far as like, are you keeping a journal because you started keeping a journal? Or are you still to this day using that journal in a way that actually advances your life, that advances your business, that helps you actually live your life in a way that you're progressing and that you're happy with, right? It's really more about understanding that there are things in life that you want to get swept up by. And then there are other things that you want to make sure you're not swept up by, right? I'm out of focus now. What's out of focus? I'm out of focus? Huh. That's interesting. So yeah, I'll leave it at that. Got me a little bit. All right, so let's forget about outcomes, focus on making a little progress every day. Would I agree with that? What I would say is that I would say that keep your eye on the outcome, but make sure that what you're trying to accomplish today serves you. And what I mean by that is that I'm clear, and this is probably actually something that I'd like to, well, I would normally flash it back to me, but because I'm using two different tools, I'm just going to stay on here for a second. One of the things that I like to do as much as possible, or as frequently as possible, is get clear in the morning how today has to go for it to be a good day. And I noticed this about myself a long time ago, that I don't give myself a lot of credit. What I mean by that is that that more often than not, my default way of kind of grading my day or grading my performance for a day will be negative. That I will often tell myself, like, oh, I really didn't get much done today, or oh, I'm not really happy with what I accomplished today, or whatnot. And that when I'm clear in the morning how I'm going to evaluate this day and what's the minimum needed to be accomplished to make this day a good day, so that when my head hits the pillow at night, I know I lived this day in a way that I am proud of. Being clear about that in the morning is a big thing for me, because I know that if I don't define it in the morning, odds are is that the way I define it in the evening, I will set myself up to lose. So what I like to do is just really get clear, like at the end of today, what needs to be true that is not true this morning as I'm thinking about my day. And if that is true, then this day will be a successful day. So for me, that's an incredibly important question. And for me, it's also an incredibly important thing to focus on. What is it that I'm going to use today to judge the day? And that doesn't mean that sometimes I don't depart from that. Like, if one of my kids needs me, or Kim needs me, or something comes up. But I want to operate as much as possible consciously, as opposed to on autopilot. So that's where I'm coming from on that level, right? And let's see here. Let's see. Yep. So there's Chris. Nothing good ever happens after midnight. All life is symbiosis. Can't argue that. What do you mean by swept up by? I mean that certain things gain momentum, right? Yeah, and it's really easy, for example, to, let's say, write in a journal. Whether that's easy for you or not, I don't know. But let's say, for example, that you start writing in a journal, it becomes a habit. Now you're kind of swept up into the routine of it. But are you doing it in a way where you still get value? And would you start doing it today if you were clear about the value that you're currently getting, not just something that because you've always done it? So that's what I mean by being swept up by. There are things that you want to be swept up by, things that will, like having a routine around exercise and getting into the groove. But other things you might not necessarily want to do consistently. They've just become routine and habit, and you're not really getting the benefit. That's where I'm coming from on that. Yeah, the negative self-talk is a trap, easier to avoid after a refreshing night's sleep. Yeah, I'm definitely my own worst critic the less sleep I get. Sleep gives your brain a major reset. No doubt. Totally get it. How do all achievers not start at zero? I don't know what you mean by that, Leslie. How do all high achievers not start at zero? Not sure if that's a riddle. How to make blogs so good to attract traffic. Summarizing books is enough, or what should I put in the blog besides summaries to serve people and make them wait for the next book I post weekly? Asma, if you're going to do book summaries, you got to figure out what's going to make yours stand out differently. I have on my homepage, I link out my personal homepage. I link out to about 20 or 30 different websites that I've come across really good book summaries, like James Clear's site and Ryan Holiday and a few others that I read their summaries some of the time. So what, Asma, are you going to bring to the table? Are they going to be different books? Are they going to be summaries for a specific type of person, or a person in a specific niche, and that's who you're summarizing for? But ideally, Asma, you would be have your visitor in mind, and what would make your site the best site for them to actually see these summaries, because you're taking these books and summarizing it for your ideal website visitor. Hopefully that helps. Do I recommend cybernetics? Are you talking about like Maxwell Maltz's book? I thought it was okay. I think hypnosis is more powerful, and there are a bunch of other things. If that's what you're asking me, Giancarlo, momentum begets momentum. No doubt, that certainly is the case. My goal is to create a life that I don't have to take a vacation from. Totally agree, Doug. And that's one of the issues I always had with the 4-hour work week. If work is something that you only want to do 4 hours a week, right? I think you're in the wrong work. I think you should want to work more because you enjoy your work. So I am so on the same page, Doug, for sure. And hi to you, Fidel. And what's more powerful than hypnosis? You were just going to mention. No, I was saying I find hypnosis more powerful than cybernetics, like psycho-cybernetics, if that's what you were talking about. How to new sushi. Have no idea what that means. Okay, let's keep it going. Let's see here. Okay. Say no a lot. Yes. You know, what I think a lot of people don't realize, especially in entrepreneurship, is that the more successful you become, the more opportunities will be thrown your way. And so opportunities often become distractions if they're not selected carefully. And so no matter how strong your no muscle is today, as you become more successful, your no muscle has to increasingly become that much more powerful. I can assure you that I get a lot more opportunities, which can be distractions today, than I did when nobody knew who I was. Which means that if you're not prepared for saying no to opportunities because they're not in line with where you want to end up, they're not the best way to get to your vision, you haven't really started to look at the trade-off as opposed to just the payoff, you can very quickly overwhelm yourself. And then, like Confucius says, the man who chases 2 rabbits catches none, right? If you're running in 2 different directions, you can't be as successful as if you're running in one direction, right? So that was a big lesson that I learned personally. I was doing a presentation, and my coach was kind of working alongside me virtually, right? You know, once a week, talking to her. This is a long time ago. And this presentation morphed into many other things. It could be a new product. It could be this, that, and the other thing. And my coach said to me, Rich, sometimes a PowerPoint is just a effing PowerPoint. And the point of that is that I had spent too much time looking at the possible payoff of everything, but not looking at the trade-off of anything. And so when you just focus on payoff, right, then your only way to evaluate is, will this bring back more than I put in? And you might get yes to a lot of answers, but what you don't necessarily totally get, or at least what I didn't, was that, is the opportunity cost, that every time I'm saying yes to something, I am slowing down everything else, and I'm setting up either disappointment in other areas or an inability to do something in another area. So I had to learn that instead of focusing on the payoff of everything, I needed to really spend more time getting clear on what the trade-off of every decision I made, because it was just too easy to only look at the payoff. And let me know if that makes sense, because that to me was a very big lesson, for sure. And let's see here. I will go back to the comments for a second, and let's see what this looks like here as I do this. Oops. All right. Let's see. Go back to this. Cool. All right. So, where am I with the questions? Okay. Agree, Doug. I heard a great quote. You always know how much you like your job on Sunday night. Yep, that is true. I'm doing nonfiction books for any author. I have James Clear's his book and summaries. You mean take one author and summarize his books only? No, I'm saying that I go to like James Clear's site and read his book summaries because I respect James Clear. You need to be a better choice than James Clear summarizing books. You're not going to be a better choice for the whole world than James Clear, but you can be a better choice, Ozma, for some group of people because you're reviewing books that are even more related to them than what James Clear is or Ryan Holiday or any of these people. Hopefully that makes sense, Ozma. When I wasn't saying no, I found I had a lot of biz, but was making 11 cents an hour. Yeah, I could totally get that, Barbara. The alternative also is you say yes a lot and you end up disappointing a lot of people, which is probably even worse than spending all your time working and making less because you're leaving a path of destruction that will make it harder for you to succeed later on if you're disappointing people and as opposed to just not making much. No kidding on the no muscle. Yeah. To saying no. Yeah, it sucks saying no to people, but it's what has to be done. How to manage a dispersed mind. The creator of CentOS prides of it but he is a natural genius. Not my case. I only have the weakness. So what do you mean, Fidel, that you're scattered? One of the best things I ever heard for being scattered. Excuse me. Wow. One of the best pieces of advice I ever heard was from Talman Knutson, who was also a client of mine. He had some products on ADD. And one of the things that he said is, you know how you want to multitask, Rich, which, you know, as an ADD type person, yes, I do. I like to jump from thing to thing. Instead of what his advice was, break your project into lots of sub projects and then like bounce around from one part of the sub project to another sub project to another sub project. You get the benefit of less boredom, right? Because you're able to jump around, but you're only moving that same project forward because you're just working on different parts of the project. That's how I've done it. And I have gotten a lot of value out of that suggestion that Telman made me. Telman made to me. Good afternoon, Jason in Tampa. Good to see you. Saying no more often, I learned from you, and since teach to others, critical for managing state and keeping on track. Yeah, totally agree. Glad to know, Leslie. Man with two watches never knows what time it is. True. It's powerful, man. Makes sense to me. Good. You're preaching to the choir. Cool. My website, asthmawebsite.com. All right. I can't look at it now, Asthma, but I will check it out at some point. Payoff versus trade-off, a variation of the multitasking argument? No, it's not. It's recognizing that you can get so excited about the payoff of something that you then move headlong in that direction without being clear of everything now that's impacted because there's a trade-off. Yes, like anytime I give a presentation, that could be a front-end product, right? I could spend a lot more time on developing the slides. I could really make sure that as this front-end product that we then market will be so good that people will want to buy more products from us and so on and so forth. And I can get so swept up in what this new product can do for the business that what I'm not present to are all the things that I will not be working on while I'm working on that presentation to turn it into a product. And so my natural default was to always get seduced by the payoff of things without getting really clear that there was a trade-off, because we do not live in infinite time. And so anytime you're saying yes to something, there are going to have to be no's that go alongside it, right? Whether that is a no about some leisure time activity, whether that's a no to something else on your calendar or some other possible projects you could pick up. And so for me, it was just really, really, really important that I get really clear every time I'm making a decision or starting to focus too much on the payoff of things. I also bring myself back to reality by getting clear about the trade-off of that payoff. Like, what am I not going to get? What am I not going to be able to do if I go after that? I am good, John Sinclair. Thanks for being here and thanks for asking. What programs are you using for this live to show questions? I am using StreamYard to show the questions on the screen. Carolee. Rich, do you recommend Nextmark for making money online or affiliate marketing niche? And what's your personal niche you target? Make money online, affiliate marketing, or internet marketing, etc. What do you mean, do I recommend Nextmark for making money online? Are you talking about, do I recommend finding lists on Nextmark for make money online? Is that what you're asking me, Giancarlo? You got to clarify a little bit, and then I'll be glad to answer your question. Renan, have you been in a position where you did not like your function, job, or even your business? And if so, what did you do? That's generally when I decide to move on. So I got bored in the clothing business, and that's why I went into music business. And then after I decided it wasn't right for me, I left those businesses and wasn't sure what to do next. And then, I got hypnotized and I really enjoyed that. And so that's when I started to think about starting a hypnosis business. After the hypnosis business after 9/11 and the hypnosis business was impacted, I got online because I really saw that I would enjoy that. And then I got into business coaching specifically several years later because I was enjoying that. I left online marketing because I didn't see a place for myself anymore. Back in around 2012, 2013, I felt that I had made my impact. I had taught a lot of people. I had changed the industry, but that I didn't see a clear role for myself anymore. So I moved on. So I would say, yes, if I very much believe, Renan, that at the end of the day, we're here for a very limited amount of time, and there's no trophy at the end. Like, no matter where you end up, whether you're really wealthy, really poor, what have you. So my belief is that any place in life where you settle, you might as well be dead, because like you're settling and now like that part of your life like has been shut down. So anytime that I'm in a position that I am not happy and don't believe that will change, I then begin to think about making whatever changes need to be made. Because I believe, especially for myself, but I think it's true for most, but definitely for myself, that the greatest productivity secret for me is to be passionate about what I'm doing. If I'm passionate about what I'm doing, I will outwork most people and I will have a whatever it takes attitude. If I'm not passionate about what I'm doing, I am going to struggle to be productive, and it's going to be an uphill climb on a daily basis, which is a real grind. And so for me, probably, I feel like more so than most, but maybe it's just my own personalizing and believing that, I'm different in some way. But definitely for me, I don't think of myself as a highly disciplined person, even though people around me sometimes think I am highly disciplined, or highly productive, or any of those things that I don't see myself as. But that's because I happen to be passionate about what the thing is that I'm working on. Right. So, yes, Renan. And I strongly suggest that anyone that is in a place where they're just kind of grinding out time, to strongly really think about what's their philosophy of life. And is it just to get to a certain place and then coast, or is it to experience new things on a continual basis, to explore, to engage, to grow? And if it is, then recognize that there isn't much to be afraid of if the goal is to learn, live, grow, etc. Giancarlo, yes, Rich. And how you target on the search to look for email lists to advertise from, make money online, affiliate marketing, or internet marketing. And I would look, for me personally, I'd look at any of those lists. For me, right? Make money online might be a little bit too green. But definitely internet marketing and affiliate marketing. And what I mean by make money online might be a little bit too green. I've never targeted people who searched in like Google how to make money online. And the reason why is that my belief is that people who are searching for that are generally a little bit too new to the equation. And they're probably not going to be very receptive to my message, because they're going to be inundated or greeted with a lot of bullshit promises about push button riches and press this button or buy this business in a box and make X or Y or Z. And I don't want to compete with those. And my belief is that when someone is green, when they're brand new and they type in like how to make money online, they don't know enough yet to know what BS a lot of those promises are. And so I don't want to have to go against those promises, because you know what, quite frankly, if you asked me, how would you like whatever outcome I want? Do I want the easy way or do I want the hard way? Of course I want the easy way. And since someone who types in how to make money online hasn't yet experienced that what is portrayed as easy is often a false promise, they first need to learn that, and then they're more receptive to my message. So that's for me, though, Giancarlo. For you, you got to think about your ideal prospect and what list they would be on. But and then once again, you want to use Nextmark for finding those lists, but you don't want to use Nextmark to rent the list. You want to go to the list owner themselves. I'm trying to get affiliate marketing and lead gen, either one, to work for me. 5 minutes into your live now, thinking of sticking to one. Which one would you begin with as a beginner? Vikas, I would go down whichever one you think you would get results, either positive or negative results, quicker, so that the feedback loop is faster. And therefore, you could decide whether you're heading down the right path or not in the least amount of time possible. So yes, I would choose one or the other. I would figure out which do you believe is going to be easier for you. I would imagine that lead gen might be easier, but don't know exactly what markets you're thinking about targeting. And so it's hard for me to say, Vikas. Discipline is mostly a myth, in my humble opinion, as you've experienced that I share. It's enthusiasm that makes the difference. When you make up excited, you get shit done. Yeah, I agree. You know, I once asked Kevin Hogan, a friend, a former client of mine as well. I think, yeah, I'm pretty sure. He's written a lot of books. He's very prolific. I once asked him, what's your secret for being so prolific? And he said, write angry. And I said, what do you mean write angry? He told me, have you ever gotten such bad service, like on a plane or something, that you decided to write a letter to the company and you were angry, so the words came out so fast, and before you knew it, you'd written like 3 pages. And as I thought about it, I was like, yeah, actually, I know that experience really well. He's like, well, get to that place and write with that kind of energy. Now, whether you tap into anger or you tap into some other powerful emotion, I think he's totally right. Certainly, being passionate is the positive side of angry, right? But both are very effective at getting shit done. So I agree. Thanks a lot, Rich, for the advice. It was gold. Good. Glad you appreciate it. Carol Lee, I need to set up a studio space for doing live shows. What camera, lighting, and programs do I hire a crew? Where do I go buy cameras and programs to look professional? Well, if you have a camera, you should be able to use that camera. So the camera that I'm using is a Canon 3Ti. I bought it like 12 years ago, and I still use it to this day. I've bought lots of other cameras over the years, but I go back to the Canon 3Ti. And so if you have an old camera, a DSLR, you can use that and you just plug it in. You can certainly use Ecamm. That was what I was using consistently. If you have a camera like that, because Ecamm will just make it work. And if you don't, then maybe you want to use StreamYard. They are very different. Ecamm is cool because it's a software that sits on your computer as opposed to a cloud-based software. The plus sides of Ecamm are how brain dead stupid it makes doing pretty professional things. Someone like myself could use it pretty easily. The downside of Ecamm is that right now, unless you hook up with a secondary service and pay more, you are only broadcasting to one channel. Whereas in StreamYard, you can broadcast to numerous channels. Like right now, I am broadcasting to Facebook, both my group, my personal page, and my fan page, and also YouTube, also Periscope. Like right now, we have 12 people on YouTube. These 12 people that were on YouTube, I couldn't hit before because I couldn't live stream to both YouTube and Facebook at the same time with Ecamm. In addition to that, I couldn't live stream to Periscope. I couldn't live stream to LinkedIn, which I couldn't do today anyway, because you have to do it in an hour ahead of time. But StreamYard allows you to broadcast to everything at the same time. Ecamm, not so much. So you have to decide, Carolee, if that's important for you or not. Discipline means being a disciple to your own value and inspired inclinations. Yes, I would agree with that. Right? Angry, golden. Hey. Hi, Rich. Shared. Thank you, Peter. You're my hero. Appreciate you quite a bit for doing that. Okay, so let's keep it going, I guess, right? And see how this looks back here. Let's go to this. Cool. All right, so what is next? Let's see. Read something every day. Yeah, I agree with that. Not much to share there. I am a reader, and I am strongly considering getting rid of YouTube Red just because it makes it a little bit too easy for me to spend too much time watching YouTube, which goes right to number 6, don't watch TV news. I've wasted way too much time watching the news, and certainly my preference is to not know what's going on in the world more and more these days. I don't know about you guys, but I just see it as unproductive time. I see it as whipping up my emotions, and at the end of the day, really doesn't impact any decision making I'm making in any given moment. So it really, for the most part, is being so up to date with what's going on in the world. I feel more and more is a distraction these days. Comparison leads to unhappiness. Totally agree. Not much to share there. But certainly all the research shows, right, that it's the comparison to others that really does lead to unhappiness and disappointment. And therefore, we should try to limit as much as humanly possible the comparing ourselves to others. Journal. As you guys all know, I am a huge fan of journaling. Been journaling for over now close to 30 years, and my life would not be anywhere near as good, for lack of a better way of describing it, without keeping my journal. Some of the best ideas I've ever had have come to me in my journal. Having that check-in daily with myself kind of keeps me conscious. If I don't keep a journal, what I often happens to me is like 2 weeks go by and I'm like, what have I done in these last 2 weeks? It feels like I was just on autopilot. So the journal is critical for me. Strenuous exercise every single day. I won't know if I do it every single day, but that's also partly because my elliptical is not working right now, and we're going to get the one from the Hamptons shipped down here because that's my favorite one. But generally, I do strenuous exercise every single day. What about you guys? Would love to know what you guys do on a daily basis, and if strenuous exercise is one of those things. Let's now see. Okay, video frozen. Okay. It looks like it's good. All right, so we are, let's see. Characters fate. Let's see. I'm looking for the ones that I like really buy into. Yes, it's not about routine, it's about practice, right? That it's only deliberate practice that really improves performance. That, just because someone's been driving for 30 years doesn't mean they're a Formula One race car driver. In fact, most aren't, because it's very easy to actually fall into a habitual way of responding where it's routine and you're no longer actually trying to improve your performance. And so it's only deliberate practice that improves performance. And when you go on autopilot, it is not the same unless you're conditioning muscle memory, which is a whole nother thing. In fact, I don't remember. I think it was a book by Charles Duhigg, not The Power of Habit, but his other one. But I don't remember if it was him or not. But I remember reading a book within the last 2 years. I think it was like at the beginning of COVID, where the author was talking about one of the things that actually will help prevent Alzheimer's is constantly making decisions. That when we make decisions, we come out of autopilot and have to like kind of wake up for a second so that we consciously can choose, right? So one of the things that I remember in this book that they were talking about is that even if you have a loved one that's in, like, let's say a nursing home and 6 p.m. is dinner, they should still make the choice. I am going to have dinner now, even though they really have no choice. Dinner is served, because just making that choice, consistently making decisions, wakes you up out of autopilot. And therefore, deciding to do whatever it is you're doing is still better off than just going with the flow, going with the routine. Hopefully that makes sense. Success equals autonomy. Well, the rewards of success are certainly autonomy. When you've proven that you can deliver a result, more people believe in you more, which therefore gives you more autonomy. I totally agree with this one. If you want to be good and feel good, you have to do good. There is no escaping this. I totally agree with that, right? Totally agree with that. I'm going to do a few more, then I'll check back in with you guys. Deliberately think about death every day. I think every day might be a little excessive, but certainly realize you are only here for a limited period of time. That's that whole like thrust of what Steve Jobs shared at the Stanford commencement, that we're only here for a brief amount of time. So there is no reason, right, to delay. There's no reason to settle. There's no reason to pursue things that you don't want to pursue. And when you're really clear that you have a limited time on this planet, and then I guess it all depends on your beliefs, right? But I believe that you're here once, that's it, it's over, end of story. That after you die is going to be similar to the way like for you, the way the world was before you were born. So what is life like going to be like when I'm dead forever onward? The same as life was the 13.5 billion years I wasn't here before I was born. And that wasn't so bad. So I assume that the afterwards won't be so bad. But this limited time I'm here now, I want to make the most of it. I want to have every experience I can have and do everything that I want to do, and recognize that I won't be able to do everything. I won't have every experience I ever want, but that it's on me to make the most of it. All right, let's check in with you guys and see what you guys think. Oh, wrong one here. So let's go back to this. Cool. And there we go. Cool. All right. Where did I leave you guys? Cool. All right. Dr. Vogelman shared 3x. Thank you, Dr. Vogelman. Just the highlights. What's just the highlights? No TV for 7 years now. Igor, you are a stronger man than me. I used to be that way, and I want to get back to it. I've gotten sucked into too much YouTube for sure. It's really hard not to watch TV news. It sucks you in like watching a train wreck. You can't pull yourself away. Well, it's tempting to watch the news. It's not really hard, right? It's actually relatively easy. You just don't turn it on. And I do think that, yeah, it's just unhealthy. And we know at this point that most news programs are biased and lie one way or the other, for one side or the other. So really, you're just we're all just confirming our worldview more than we are being educated. And if you think about the way life was lived maybe even 50 or 100 years ago, most people did not know what was going on in the next town, let alone all around the world. And I question how beneficial it actually is to know all that stuff. I disagree. Comparison leads to unhappiness. It depends on how you do it. I personally compare myself to other people all the time. Looking at people with better results than my own gives me a lot of motivation because I'm competitive as fuck. Looking at other people's results give me certainty and inspiration on what's possible. It makes me happy. Well, that's really cool, Lewis. So yeah, to each their own. I would say that I don't feel that way. I'm not really hyper competitive, but I could totally see that if you are, and that generates drive and ambition for you, then it certainly is a good thing. And therefore to each their own. And you know, and so much of life is that way, that, you know, what works for me might not work for you. What works for Lewis might not work for me. And you really have to figure out what works for you. And I think part of being an adult, part of the maturation process, is recognizing what really works for you. How do you get the best out of yourself? Part of growing up is learning what works for you and doing that, right? And it doesn't have to be the same as anyone else as long as it works for you. I agree. It seems to be the same all over. I'm not sure who you agree with, but okay. I'm not sure if that was with me or Luis. When in your day to day do you journal? It's really all over the place. I'd like to get back to doing it consistently every morning, and I do it more often than not in the morning. But I also sometimes do it in the evening or when I have some free time. It's also a good excuse for me to get outside, because oftentimes I'll write my journal outside. And when I want to reflect on things, when I want to think things through, so I will use it during the day. If I am being somewhat unproductive, or I've had a few days where I've been unproductive, I will often take my journal and actually use it as a tool for the day, where I'm checking in with myself consistently, like what I'm working on now, what I plan on working on next. And and as I move and transition, I record it. So, it's a tool for me. It's a thinking tool. It's much more of a thinking tool than it is anything else. I do record a lot of like what has transpired, but that's not my main goal of my journal. My journal is not to record to keep just a written record of what I've done. It's much more about forcing myself to think, knowing that I tend to go on autopilot. So I hope that helps, Leslie, because for me, that really is the very big part of keeping a journal. Walking. Okay. I don't know if you're walking right now. I hike 3 to 5 days a week. Oh, this is what you do every morning. That's pretty cool. Where do you hike, Barbara? Obviously California, since you live there, but in wine country, but anything out of focus again. That's so bizarre. Must be something to do with the two cameras or two systems. I usually do at least 10 miles on the bike at half resistance, then focus on one body part with weights or lifting. That's pretty cool, John. On a daily basis, speed reading in Chevron style. Do you do this? Do you do that, Igor? Is that my video? It's so cool. Yes, sometimes 30 years experience is just 1 year's experience done over 30 times, for sure. Decision making is a skill in itself. It's not a natural thing because we never think too far into the decision. I think you can learn. You can consistently become a better decision maker if you're reflective on the decisions that you made that were right versus the decisions that you made that were wrong. Carol Lee, I worry about growing my business and then the economy crashes. 2008 was hard to recover from. We sailed through COVID. We are growing, but I feel nervous because I now need a bigger warehouse. This requires a bigger expense and investment. What if I expand, then it crashes? How do you get past the fear? I just believe that I'm going to land on my feet, that whatever comes up, Carol Lee, I'm going to be able to handle it. So that's first and foremost. Then I want to make sure that I'm heading down in the right direction. If you've been successful over the past year, there has been so much money pumped into the economy that when we're really out in the clear as far as COVID goes, you're going to see the economy explode. It's going to grow tremendously. The Republicans will say this is all the stuff that Trump put in place. The Democrats will say that this is all the stuff that Biden has now done. And of course, neither one will be 100% accurate. Who knows? Which is why, to me, the news seems so pointless these days. But we definitely are going to have a boom, right? And all you can do is hedge, right? You can make sure that any risky decision that you have to make, right? Like expanding your warehouse, if you're going to be able to expand how your business grows, then what you want to do is you want to limit your downside, and you want to think through how can you limit that downside. There's really no benefit to being overly worried. You have to do what you want or need to do in order to grow the business if that's important to you, and recognize how soon you will know whether it's the right decision or not, and what you need to be on the lookout for as far as what indicators will let you know in advance of when the shit hits the fan that it might not have been the best decision. And if you're not clear about that ahead of time, then you might end up putting yourself in a bad situation. All right, wait. It's so interesting that I can lose. There we go. All right. Decision making. Okay, we got that. Got that. Shared to my group. Thank you, John. On fire 100%. Thank you. Daily hypnosis for success. Any suggestion to use any daily? I like Paul McKenna. It was a Paul McKenna Broadway show that really pushed me over the edge to get involved in hypnosis. It was I met Paul McKenna numerous times at a bar I used to hang out in called Moomba in the West Village in Manhattan, and so I have really enjoyed Paul McKenna's hypnosis programs, probably more than anyone else's specifically. You can connect the dots looking backwards. Yep. So true. That's one of my favorite quotes. Outsource your storage like Amazon uses drivers to deliver their package. Outsource your storage. What storage? What storage are you talking about, Peter? But how often do you review your values and vision? Not often enough, Dynamofo. I haven't done that in quite a while, although I write about it in my journal, so I don't know that I'm being as truthful, I guess, and when I say not very often, but I don't really, my values are pretty clear to me. My vision is constantly changing. I don't know what I want my life to look like in 5 years from now. And I'm pretty certain that even if I came up with an answer right now, it would probably be very different then. But that doesn't stop me from having a direction I'm going in and being very present to the opportunities that provides and whether or not the progress I'm making is making me happier or not. Barbara, my husband is addicted to the news. I totally get it. I've been there many times myself. Yes, you cannot connect the dots looking forward. Hey, Isabella's in the house. Thank you for the best wishes from Germany. I haven't watched TV in years. I've never been a news guy, though. It's all propagated propaganda. So true. Take a walk, Barbara. Let him revel in the misery of it. Oh. My daily routine: listening to audiobooks, cooking, exercise, but not everyone. Working to be better, learning English language 2 hours a day, and stay with family most of the time. Well, that sounds like a pretty good daily routine, Asma. Rich, if you had to choose between $1 million or 1,000 buyers, 1,000 buyers. I assume you mean a list of 1,000 buyers. I guess it all depends on who those buyers are, right? If the buyers were going to have a lifetime value of more than $1,000, then the 1,000 buyers would be better, right? If they would have a lifetime value of $10,000, that would be $10 million. So that certainly would be better. Yeah, it depends on those buyers. If the buyers were 1,000 buyers who took a dollar trial to steal our winners, I think I'd probably rather have the $1 million. Comparison does not work because you will eventually fall below your mark of success and your self-esteem will suffer as a result. Feedback: how you use journaling is great. Thanks. Going back to the exercise thing, I go to the gym and hit the weights. Personally, I like the kettlebells. I've got kettlebells. I want to start using more, but I really love to speed read on the elliptical. It makes time go by super fast for me when I'm working out, faster than watching a movie or watching anything else on the elliptical. And I get the benefit of having read. So for me, reading on the elliptical is my number one activity. Journaling is amazing. I used to burn them after 1 year. Literally, just go back to where you were 2 years ago. Best motivation ever. 6 Pillars of Self-Esteem. That was a decent book by Nathaniel Brandon. Yes, of course, your video on speed reading, Rich, from the 1st of April, 2011. Wow. So that'll be the 10-year anniversary in about, 15 days? And then also this year is the 15-year anniversary of the manifesto. How to manufacture scarcity trigger in selling soft for business or something that will trigger sale now. Scarcity, urgency is created through social proof and scarcity, right? That's the ideal. So can you create something where it gives the appearance that a lot of people are interested, either because a lot of people are commenting or there's a lot of traffic or something that people can see, and then also have some viable, believable reason why there is not unlimited quantity. If you take those two, right, scarcity plus social proof, you create incredible urgency. Excuse me. I've switched off the TV in recent times and read a snippet of Anthony DeMello daily to get grounded in the present. I love Anthony DeMello. I love all of Anthony DeMello's stuff. So good call, Adrian. And anyone who doesn't know who Anthony DeMello is, check him out on YouTube. I mean, he's passed away. He was a Jesuit priest who was poisoned, supposedly. Paul McKenna is great. I use his daily meditation for sleep. Yeah, I love Paul. Great hypnotist and NLP practitioner and entertainer. Where do the comments go? There we go. All right. I use John Asseroff's inner size programs. Kim is a fan of that, so I've heard of that, Barbara. LOL. I thank you, sir. You're welcome. I never know how to pronounce your name. Is it Eon? Eon? I'll be upgrading SOW when I can. Cool. Well, great to hear, Peter. Do you audio read, or is it all speed reading? I mean, speed reading sounds cool. Don't read that much, but I audio read like a wild man. So elliptical, kettlebell, squatting, all while reading audio, some valuable information. You mean you listen to audio? You listen to books on tape? I sometimes do. I don't really listen to that many books on tape, although I do use apps like Quick Reader that read to me in high speed while also pacing. So it's a little bit different, but I find that it's really easy for me to get distracted just listening. I know a lot of other people listen to books on tape all the time and do really well with that. Got to bounce. See you soon, Dr. Vogelman. Wow, 10 to 15 year anniversary. Time to bring those two together and create some event for it. Yeah, maybe I should. Thank you so much for giving freely of your time and knowledge. How best can we support you? Just by sharing these, that's the best thing that you can do. Also, if it fits with your business, being a subscriber of Steal Our Winners, and and be successful, and let me know that I made a difference. That's how you can help. As far as building a personal brand, do you think that one platform, one process for 1 year is best, or stream on three stream on three platforms at once and watch which one does better? The latter more than the former, John. It's better. Why? If all it is checking off a button to broadcast on other streams, why wouldn't you do that? And then look at where you're getting the most people to watch. Like right now, we have 72 people watching. There are 52 people watching on my Facebook fan page. There are 15 people now watching on YouTube. There are 4 watching in the Strategic Profits group and 3 people watching on my personal Facebook page and 0 people in Periscope. So obviously, like if I were in your shoes, I would not be spending a lot of time on Periscope, but it doesn't really require anything to just click a button and have my content there. And who knows who might come across it. I use Paul McKenna's confidence self-hypnosis too. Yeah, he's just really good. Rich, when is Matt Rizvi's birthday? His birthday was about a week before mine, so you missed it, Giancarlo. Groove plus SOW forever. Cool, Peter. I don't know when the Groove SOW starts, but it should start like ASAP. All right, let's do a few more, and then I think I'm going to end this a little bit early just because I have back-to-back calls that my day doesn't end till 9 tonight. Just had, I was trying to keep my schedule open in the evening so that when I was dealing with someone in California, they would have some flexibility. What I have found, though, is that when I'm dealing with people on the West Coast, more often than not, they always want to schedule at the end of their day. And so if I have my Calendly link out there, what ends up happening is that I end up getting my evenings totally booked, and then I'm not happy and Kim's not happy, and we can't have that. All right, so let's take a look at a few more here. Whoa. Did I just lose a bunch, or did I just somehow get back, scroll to the top? Oh, no. Okay. All right, let's go back here and see what other ones we have. Oh, let me get rid of the... All right. Trust the process. I agree with this too. Like, if you're going to be a student of someone's, or you're going to learn a way of doing things, I feel like most people don't take the time to actually follow the process or the advice of the person that got the result that they're trying to follow. They often second guess too soon and start taking what was a working process and modify it into a non-working process by making it their own. You should first follow exactly, get the outcome, then modify based on experience, not the other way around. All right. Yes, I agree with this. Do your job well, whatever it is, because how you do anything is how you do everything. And that's a very well-known kind of quote from the transformation world, and I tend to agree with that. Instead of trying to be the noun, be the verb. And I've never heard that before, but I do dig that. The present is enough. Just have a philosophy. I agree. Keep a commonplace book, a collection of little sayings about how to live. I don't do that, but that's recorded in my journal. Yes, let it go. Those who wrong you, wrong themselves. Totally agree. It's not worth holding grudges. Biographies are the best way to study the great lives of people. Totally agree with that. I don't think most entrepreneurs read enough business biographies. Be strict with yourself and forgiving of others. Yep, most people have it the other way around. This is still something I'm learning. Don't wait until later. Do the thing now. Kim is very much a do it now person. I'm very much a do it later person. I'm trying to get better at that. Let's see. I'm just looking to see if anything really stands. Go the fuck to sleep. Got to believe in that. Always say less than is necessary. That might be a hint to me. Don't just read books, reread books. Yes. Every time I reread a book, I get more from it. Well, this one focused on your inner scorecard rather than your outer scorecard. What I like to say is that life is an inner experience that we mistake as an external one. And yet everything that we do for external reasons, we do for internal experiences. And the sooner that you get that, the sooner you realize that what is external is a lot less important than what is internal. This is also a great one, although I wouldn't say I've mastered this, but I get it. Like, wrap up each day as if it were the end of your life. Kind of keep your side of the street clean, right? So I could keep going and pull up another list, but I think that this was a good way to kind of ease back into these live streams now that I've done my birthday, gotten that out of the way. Totally was in recovery mode yesterday. Let me go back to just me here for a second. And I'd be really curious, guys, like what topics you'd like me to focus on going forward. On Thursday, I am finally going to get back to recording some of the YouTube videos. I might even record 2 on Thursday if I can. And along those lines, I think we will wrap here. So I'll end a little early today. The link was, if you look at it, is Sorry, it's 100 Very Short Rules for a Better Life. It's by Ryan Holiday. Yep. And he just published it this past like a month ago. So if you just do a search in Google for Ryan Holiday, 100 Very Short Rules for Life, that's where you will find his little list there. And I have a bunch of those lists. And every time I come across a good one, I save it. And the whole idea is that, you know, it's helpful to come up with your own list by looking at the lists of others. So I'm not going to bed, Giancarlo. I've got a crazy amount of stuff to do. I'll tell you what I've got on my agenda. On my agenda, I am talking to Joe Fear and Matt Wolf at 4 p.m. my time. At 5 p.m. my time, I am talking to Tim Bird at between 6 and 7. I'm talking to my affiliate manager, Michelle. At 7 p.m., I'm talking to Dean Jackson. And then at 8 p.m., talking to Cole Gordon, Matt Risby. And then my day is finally over, and I will be happy. And Kim will be mad that I worked until 8:30. And that is all I got, guys. So I will speak to everyone on Thursday to Higher Profits and Beyond. This is Rich Sheffrin over and out. I want to thank each and every one of you who shared, who participated, who commented, who emoted, who subscribed, and what have you. And most importantly, shared. And I know you have lots of choices of how you spend your time. And the fact that you came here and spent some time with me, I am grateful. And I hope that it was time well invested on your part. And if it was, I hope to see you again. And I'm here on Thursday, so hopefully I'll see you then. To Higher Profits Beyond, Rich Sheffrin, over and out.